Hello, everybody. My name is Ravi Lal from Voxly Digital, and I'm going to do a presentation today on bringing an iconic UK sports brand to voice. And of course, that iconic sports brand is BBC Match of the Day magazine. So I can't wait to tell you guys about this. Like everybody else, I'm coming to you from a video, so apologize for that. I'm recording this on my laptop in London, UK. So sorry we can't all be together in a conference, but I guess those are the days that we live in. So cool, guys. So we're Voxly Digital. We are Europe's leading voice agency. We've done the most kind of large brand, global branded projects of any other agency in Europe. We've probably done over 30 at this point. Our mission is simple and clear. We want to build the very best experiences for Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant. We're a full service agency. We have all our skills are in-house, so our designers, developers, project managers, analytics, the whole skill set that we need to bring amazing experiences to life, we have in-house. And I'd also like to highlight somebody from our management team. So Razu Meredith leads on innovation and strategy. She is a former co-founder of a business called Send Me a Sample, which is a really, really good example of voice commerce, and it's working really, really well. And she's now been with Voxly Digital for about 9 months, and she is a key member of the management team. And I myself am Ravi. I started Voxly Digital several years ago, have been running it out of London, and we are completely passionate about this sector. In terms of a little bit more about us, we're an award-winning agency. We've won Webby Awards. Some of our developers are Alexa Developer Champions. So we have some really, really good talent on the team. I already mentioned Rosie from Send Me a Sample. We also have been recognized and recommended by both Amazon and Google. So we're a recommended agency or endorsed supplier. On the Amazon side, we work really, really closely with them here in London, and they have just been amazing for us. They've done a great job building up the ecosystem, helping us, coaching us, talking us through it, and we can't say enough about them, really. In terms of how we work, it's really simple. Hopefully, every agency has a slide like this or should have a slide like this. So when we sit down and engage with a brand, we go through 3 really simple stages, which are think, build, run. So think just means strategy. It means helping the brand to understand what voice is all about, what the opportunity is, business cases, that kind of thing. Then we go into production, which is build, where we do all the coding, content, design, user testing, and we build something amazing. And then finally, the run stage. And that's really when something goes live, that's when you get all the learning. And so that's also something we're really, really passionate about. We're really interested in analytics and measurement and data, but we also think it's really important to talk to customers and to talk to end users as they're using your service and to monitor the ratings and reviews and get all of the kind of non-quantitative feedback too. In terms of who we've worked with, so we've worked across many, many of the large sectors in the Fortune 500. So consumer good companies, health and well-being, fashion and beauty, automotive, charity, content and publishing. Basically, we've built 3 Alexa skills for Unilever. We built the NHS's first publicly available Alexa skill. That was a lot of fun with Public Health England. We built the skill for Spider-Man. So Spider-Man is now our code. If you say Alexa open Spider-Man, that's our service that opens. So we've really, really been very, very heavily involved in this sector and have tried to drive things over the last few years. And I've got to work with some really, really amazing companies, and we've really, really learned a lot. Just recently, in fact, you can see on the bottom left there, we launched a toothbrush skill for little kids for Aquafresh. So even through this kind of downtime, we're still continuing to deliver. So let's get to it. Forget about us. We're boring. Let's get into some fun stuff here. What we're going to do is talk about this Match of the Day magazine voice service that we built. But before we get into the details, we're going to spend a little bit of time on the insights and some of the stats and some of the trends behind why people are using voice, and specifically why people in the family unit are using voice. Again, Match of the Day magazine is a proposition for 6 to 12-year-old kids. So we want to make sure we design for kids and families. And then once we go through all the cool stats, we'll then get more into exactly what we executed and what it looks like on screens and what it looks like on Google Assistant. And we'll take you through the proposition. So first of all, voice in the family. So we at Voxly Digital did a market survey not too long ago in March. We did a survey, small survey, 400 UK respondents. Before I get into the stats, guys, on the bottom right of the screen, anybody's welcome to visit our website, visit the blog, download all the infographics, all the information's there, and we'd love for you guys to read it and use it and send us feedback. So everybody check out the website if you think that these stats are interesting, basically. Cool. So first of all, 20,000-foot view. How do families see voice assistants and smart speakers? And so the answer is they're no longer just using it for kind of gimmicks or utilities. It's no longer the egg timer or the odd question about what's the diameter of Saturn. And that was sort of in the earlier stages of voice assistants. Voice assistants have moved much more front and center now. So 71% see it as an entertainer. Around 70% see it as a teacher or a source of education. Half the families see their voice assistant as another member of the family. And these numbers are just going to go up higher and higher. So really good acceptance of voice, really central role for voice in the family and in the household. And something just to keep in mind as you're thinking about experiences to build, basically. In terms of when families are using voice assistants, this corresponds to family time. So early in the morning, late afternoon, early evening, dinner time, after school. This is when families are using voice assistants. And so that's a really important factor. Business time, school hours are not really the peak times for this technology when it comes to families. In terms of who's using it, really great stat here. So 2 in 3 families are using their voice assistants together as a unit. So everybody knows now where things have gone with smartphones, right? We're all sitting separately. We're sitting in chairs. We're all looking at our screens. Nobody knows what anyone else is doing. Voice is not like that. Voice is a community technology. People huddle around the speaker together. They use it together. They laugh together. They listen to Spotify together. So 60% of families using it together, 42%, some of the families using it, and then 26%, it's just the adult, and then under 20% is just the kid. So really, really cool insight here. That just tells you that people are using this technology in groups. And so when you build a game or you build this or that, just keep in mind that the kids are going to use it, but the parents are going to be there too. And that's kind of an important learning. In terms of who initiates the activity, who discovers the new skills, who's kind of the pioneer head. On this technology, it's the adults, 8 and 10. 8 and 10 initiate using voice, and then the kids kind of follow and kind of listen along, and as they get more comfortable, the kids get more independent. But overall, within a family unit, adults really take the lead. In terms of how confident are families? Is this an exotic technology? Is this like everyone's got a virtual reality headset and they're all bumping into each other in the living room? The answer is families feel comfortable. 60% said they're intermediate expertise, and 21% said they were pros at using voice. So voice isn't hard to use. It's got a low learning curve. It's fun to use, easy to discover. So families are comfortable. So don't feel hesitant to design services for families, to design games for families. They're looking for content and they know how to use the technology. In terms of how do families discover new services, what do they look for when sampling, basically? So 95%, kind of in the top 3 there, a brand that they recognize and trust is really comes out 9 out of 10. So families want to use services from McDonald's or Lego or Monopoly or iconic family brands like that. Of course, it has to be easy to understand. People have to know what it does. The ratings and reviews, of course, need to be high. Top of the list and featured in the skill store just means it's above the fold. And again, Amazon really can do a lot to promote a skill. But the good news for those of you who work with large brands is that families are seeking out brands when they are seeking out new skills. And Match of the Day is a massive brand here in the UK. Cool, so let's get into it. So we've learned a little about families. You've learned a little bit about us. Now, let's get to the actual point of this presentation, which is building the ultimate voice trivia game for footy fans. So we need to start out and just tell you a little bit first about who are Match of the Day. So Match of the Day, super iconic football brand, decades of heritage in this country, which is the UK. Everybody on the street knows who they are. They're really a tier 1 brand, and that they're amazing. So they have an extension to their proposition called Match of the Day magazine, which is a weekly magazine that targets kids between, say, 6 and 12. So it has the trading cards, it has the posters, it has the quizzes. It's got the fun stuff that kids would enjoy. You remember what it's like to be a kid. So the magazine comes out every Tuesday, and basically the magazine is anchored around 2 influencers, Paz and Catch. So these guys are editors, they're writers, but they also appear in the magazine. They're part of the brand, they're on the website, they're in the videos, they're in all the social media. They're celebrities when it comes to this age group, football fans, and they are known, and people, kids know who they are. So a great brand, a lot of iconic heritage, and then 2 amazing influencers who kind of bring it to life every day. And Match of the Day magazine is licensed by a publisher called Immediate Media, who are a very diversified publisher here in the UK and have loads of really, really cool titles. So when we sat down with Paz and Catch, we sat down with the guys at Immediate. The first question was, well, what should we build? What, let's talk about the strategy here. What's important? And what they really, the reason they were so interested in Alexa is they didn't want to necessarily invent a new type of content. They wanted to bring what they were doing so well into a new channel, right? And voice is a new channel. Voice is the next billion-person channel. So find new ways for kids and fans to engage with Match of the Day. Now, really, what's key in all of that is you need to preserve your brand magic. So they didn't want it to not feel like Match of the Day. Kids are smart, and if they engage with something and it doesn't feel quite right, they'll disconnect quite quickly. So, of course, we wanted to keep readers engaged. We wanted to broaden the proposition beyond print and beyond online. And we want kids to have fun. We want them to talk about it. We want good word of mouth. We want good buzz. So translating all that stuff you see there in the middle onto that speaker and to the right. So, so how do we do that? What did we build? So we built a quiz. So a quiz is a good format. They were already doing quizzes in their magazine, so the readers were familiar with it. Plus, guys, quizzes work really, really well on voice. A lot of the most popular voice games or quizzes, and so it was kind of a natural fit, basically. Cool, so 5 questions a week, 2 difficulty levels, kind of Sunday League and Pro. You pick a team, so I want to be playing for Manchester United. And as you score points for your team, and there's a leaderboard, so that kind of adds a little bit of fun to it. And then also the training mode is important because, we want people to use skills every day. We want them to have that fun every day. And if you've basically finished your 5 questions for the week, you've got nothing to do until the next Tuesday. So we built this thing called training mode, where kids can play more and more, and they can answer more questions and just kind of engage with the skill a little bit more. So in terms of showing you guys just a little bit about the visual execution, what I'll do is play a very short video that we'll have to edit the sound in after this, that kind of shows what the home screen looks like when you open up the skill.
Hi reader, good work completing this week's quiz. A new one will be available soon. Shall we play in training mode in the meantime?
So that's what it sounds like. That's what it looks like. We used a little bit of animation. We had a lot of fun with it. We wanted to really preserve that kind of grand magic. Great. So then you get to the questions. So you have a question 1, 2, or 3. On the right there, it will keep track of how many you got right and how many you got wrong, just like a penalty shootout in football/soccer. And then when the user gives an answer, we wanted to have a little fun with that. We wanted to build some animations around getting questions right or getting questions wrong. So the screen on the right just shows the animation that plays when the user gets the question correct. Cool. I'll show you that one more time. So basically, you as a player have scored a goal there. That's great. And then you go on to the next question. Also important, we did an execution for Google Assistant. So Google Assistant is also an important platform. Google Assistant primarily used on smartphones. So most of the traffic for Google Assistant would come on your Android phone. And so we had to really do a nice execution for that kind of experience also. So Google Assistant on the smartphone, as you guys know, is much more chatbot based. There's buttons. You can push buttons or you can type. You don't only talk to it. But again, putting all that kind of technical detail aside, what's important here is just keeping the spirit of the brand, keeping the audio consistent, keeping the influencers in the experience, and making kids associate this skill with what they see in the magazine. So coming away from the voice experience, there's also a landing page. It tells you how to use the skill. And then in the middle panel there, you have the leaderboard. So as you play the game and as you score goals and as you score points, your team can kind of move up and down the leaderboard. Just a bit of fun, just a bit of way to kind of build some gamification in there and kind of keep it interesting. The leaderboard is also obviously available on the screen-based devices. So you can just ask for your position. So Leicester City is just behind Crystal Palace, but ahead of Man U. And that also just adds a little bit of fun, a little bit of extra magic to the quiz skill, basically. And then finally, really important when you build a quiz skill, you've got to keep the questions current and up to date, and you got to keep the content fresh. So we built a content management system for the client. They can go in, they can just add questions. They don't have to come back and bug the developer, which is Voxly Digital. They've got total control over that. And they can go in and listen to things and kind of play around with it until they're happy with it. So a content management kind of interface to a voice experience is becoming pretty standard now, but it is still something you should put on your checklist and still something that I think is really, really important. And this is designed for end users. The social media team at Match of the Day Magazine can use this. They can write questions and just type them straight in. And then when the new questions come in on the next Tuesday, their content is there and it all kind of works really, really smoothly. Okay, so let's get into some new topic, marketing. So launch and discovery. So again, these guys are really, really good at this, as you can imagine. They're all over social media. They've got strong Instagram. They did little stories. They did animations. They really, really had a lot of fun with this, and they really just leveraged their own owned media to build traffic, which is a really kind of smart and kind of good way to do things. In the print magazine on the right there, they did a double-page ad, and it explained in a lot of detail how to use the app, how to find it, what it does, why it's fun, and they're running ads all summer to promote this. Of course, they did a web execution too. They built a little mini landing page around using the voice app. So integrated marketing is important. Always on marketing is important too. You can't do kind of a 1 day or a 1 week marketing launch and expect all this traffic to fall in your lap. You really need to constantly use your existing channels and just signpost the fact that you've now launched a voice experience. In terms of influencers and video, they posted a lot of videos. There's a young guy on the left there called Donovan who did kind of a walkthrough of the skill, and he kind of filmed himself playing it. Jack Rolls in the center is a professional football/soccer player. So his brother filmed him playing the game. And then Catch also filmed himself. And I think Catch is writing the questions. I don't know why he didn't get a 5 out of 5, but I'll check up on that. But really good integrated marketing is really, really key. And also, we should never forget that Amazon also can do a lot to get traffic. So they can merchandise your skill, which means put it on a good place on the App Store. They can put it above the fold. They can put it as, new apps this week. All of this kind of stuff they can do it, and it really can get a lot of traffic. Also, it's important to stress that ratings and reviews are important. So 286 ratings. I think this was just the first week that we launched it. But that has a very positive impact, and that's an important thing that you as a skill owner should kind of focus on and make sure that you've delivered a good experience, and that you should always shoot for a 4 or 4.5 stars out of 5 is kind of your average rating, basically. So again, Amazon have a lot of influence in getting the word out and telling people that you've got a skill. Well, let's bring it all together then. What have we learned? What have we observed? Kind of what are some of the key takeaways from today? First of all, when you start out on Voice Guys, make sure that you preserve your brand magic. Clients and customers already know what you do. They know who you are. They know where you sit in the overall marketplace. Really make sure that voice is a new channel for what you're already doing amazingly. Build for your audience. So we talked a lot about families. We talked about how families use voice, how kids use voice. Try to really build for your segment and make sure that you know your segment well before you kind of dive into this. Keep things simple. So a quiz is a great format. Don't try to do too much with your voice service. What clients and what customers and what users don't want, they don't want to hear, do you want A, B, C, or D every time you open the skill? People want the content. They want to get into it. They want to fun. They want to smile kind of in that first 2 or 3 seconds. So make sure that you're really delivering that. And then there's no such thing as free traffic. You've got to have a strong, always-on marketing plan. Even if you build the world's best skill, if you don't tell anybody about it, the traffic won't just organically come. So, the good news is if you're a big brand, people are looking for big brands. So there is a little bit of alignment there. But again, when you plan your voice project, plan your marketing campaign also, and make sure that you tell customers about it. So thank you so much. We really enjoyed building this skill. We really enjoyed working with in Immediate Media. We've had fun presenting this back to you. If you want our family report, just go to our website and download it. That would be great. If you have any questions about the skill or want to talk to us further, just come to our website, go to our LinkedIn page, come find us. And if you're ever in London, we'd be happy to buy you a pint. Thanks a lot.